All right, welcome again to NASA at Home Spaceport Series. I am your host, Joshua Santora. Whoopsies, we're going to come right back to that in a minute. That's a little preview of what we're talking about today. We have a fantastic, excuse me, my machine has decided to misbehave entirely today. So, sorry, we're having some technical difficulties getting off the ground here, a little bit slower than we would have liked, but we're going to get there soon enough. Let's see, we're going to jump in here. That's my guest, Regina Spellman. Regina, thanks so much for being here. Forgive me while I tweak out these technical... So sorry about this, folks. This is something that my machine likes to do on me when it's feeling like it's misbehaving here. All right, there we go. Got it. Forgive me. We're back in good shape. This is my guest, Regina Spellman. Regina, thanks for being here today. Oh, Regina, are you muted? Is your mic muted? Not a good sign. All right, here. I'm going to go ahead and introduce... This is my guest, Regina Spellman. She is the primary at the Launch Complex 39B. She's the project manager there. So forgive us as we work through these technical difficulties. Not sure what's going on, but we are working to fix this as soon as we can. Regina, go ahead and talk for me again. I want to see if we've resolved this issue.
Can you hear me, Joshua?
There we go. Not sure what happened, but we're back. Again, this is the life of technology. We know that it works really great and it's phenomenal when it's perfect, and when it's not, here we are. Okay, Regina, tell us a little bit about what you do as the project manager for Launch Complex 39B.
Yeah, Joshua, so my job has been for the last 5 years or so to make sure that Launch Complex 39B is ready to launch the next generation of rockets for NASA under the Exploration Ground Systems program. We inherited Launch Complex 39B space shuttle program. And, we had a lot of work, a lot of construction, and to get that pad ready for the architecture for the supply.
Awesome, that's fantastic. So I want to ask you a little bit today about the history of this launch pad. So this is an extremely historic launch pad. It's one of the most historic in history. Can you tell me about kind of what we're talking about as far as getting it ready for the next generation? That means that it's been through a lot already.
It really has, and it's pretty inspiring every time you're out there to think about all the history that it's seen. Launch Complex 39 actually consists of two pads, Pad A and Pad B. When we started Constellation program, we were going to use both, and we started working on Pad B. Since then, in the new SLS architecture, we only use one of those pads. And so we now have SpaceX over on Pad A, which is part of the multi-user spaceport that we have at Kennedy Space Center now. The two pads were built for the Apollo program. Pad A was started first, and Pad B was completed in 1967. Both of those pads support the Apollo Soyuz programs, and then they were both renovated to support the shuttle program, and together they supported the shuttle program. Pad B was last used to actually launch the one and only launch for the Constellation program, which is known as Artemis 1X, and that was in October of 2009. It actually launched off while we were still flying off of Pad A. So we have been working up there, renovating the pad. We're 50 years old, starting with Apollo. That was our first launch to support the dry run for Apollo 11 on May of 1960. Enabled them to launch 11 off of pad just in the following July. So it kind of shows you how the two pads work in concert together.
Yeah, it's awesome. So you mentioned kind of the differences there with a clean pad versus not a clean pad here. So we have an image that I wanted to bring up of this is what the non-clean pad looks like. So obviously for you and me, we kind of know what this means, but for our viewers here today, this is what we're talking about. You want to describe what we're seeing here on screen here, Regina?
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody realizes when we talk about a clean versus non-clean, we certainly don't mean dirty. What we mean is
yeah, absolutely.
Clean versus cluttered, or it's a little bit less simple. there's a lot of, you can see there's a lot of large structures out at the pad. The architecture for the shuttle program was just to have that flat takeoff, which we call the multi-launcher platform, and to bring the orbiter to the pad. The large structure that you see would rotate. It's called the rotating service structure, and it would cover the orbiter, and they would have all the access to the vehicle there at the pad. Now, the launch pad is next to the ocean. It's a beautiful view, but it's also a lot of salt air, which is very corrosive to all that metal. So it's beautiful being out there for months at a time and being exposed to the elements. After launch, that would go back to the vehicle. All these large structures also sit there at the pad to that sea air. It's a lot of work just to maintain all that every day. So as we went into systems and prepared for Artemis, the architecture we had in Apollo program, we basically do all those connections to the vehicle and the protection of the vehicle assembly building. And rather than just having a flat table, we have a tower, we have a mobile tower. All of our connections to the vehicle inside the vehicle assembly building. The crawler picks up the launcher, brings it out to the pad, and then we only have the launcher. And what that does is that minimizes the infrastructure that we have on the pad surface. We minimize the amount of time we have to connect vehicles. So the vehicle is only out for days rather than for months. And then we also have to back to, and after the launch, we have to maintain. And an added benefit is that it neutralizes the pad. This enables us to use this launch pad to support any of the other programs that are flying today. So it really enables our multi-user spaceport. There's very powerful connections that are custom to any one vehicle because that is done on a mobile launcher.
Yeah, awesome. And I know you've talked about kind of this clean pad and the non-clean pad, and obviously you mentioned we're back to a clean pad design. Can you talk about what's had to go into the process of getting it ready, which is kind of interesting that when we talk about eliminating structures, there's still a lot of work to do there. And we have a video we'll roll here, and you can kind of explain what we're looking at here.
Yeah, out of the pad, there's a lot of systems underneath the surface or out in the perimeter that you don't see when you just look at it. So we had to also, going to a multi-user, this is an image of the flame deflector that we put in. We designed a flame deflector to launch any vehicle. It was optimized for SLS, but it can launch any launch vehicle. We replaced all the bricks inside the flame print. We upgraded all of the major systems out there. We put new cryogenics, the sound suppression system, all the instrumentation, all the Apollo air controls we removed. She's 50 years old and she got a complete makeover. Everything out here has either been repurposed, removed, or replaced with new technology to enable us to support us in Orion.
Yeah, that's awesome. And as we look towards Artemis I and future launches, I know that we've declared that we're ready for Artemis I, which is super exciting. What are you looking forward to, and kind of what does your role look like going forward from here? Because a big part of your job is done anyway.
I say the first chapter's done, right? So we're ready for Artemis I, but that's not going to get us boots on the moon in 2024. So Artemis I is kind of like the first uncrewed test flight for Artemis. Following that, in 2023 timeframe, we're looking to actually put the first crew on board, and that'll enable us to prepare to send them to 2024. And in order to have crew on board, a few systems that we did not do for because they were not needed is the emergency escape system. The crew, in case something would happen, we need to be able to get them off of the vehicle into safety as soon as possible. So that system is being designed today. We're also building liquid hydrogen sphere out there. We currently have hydrogen and oxygen spheres at the surface, about 800,000 gallons. In order to support SLS, we're building another 2.5 million gallons of hydrogen, and that will get our launch after 3 attempts within 24 hours apart. And the whole idea, once you have the crew, you have, everyone is there, ready to go, you want to be able to get off the first opportunity. And so building this additional sphere, you'll have 2 attempts to get that bird off the ground, get on its way to the moon.
Sure. Yeah. Awesome. Regina, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for being featured on our Artemis Week. Glad you could join us.
I'm happy to be here, and I hope you're the rest of the week for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Be sure to tune in, everybody who's viewing. We will be coming to you live every day this week, featuring different aspects of the Artemis program. The Kennedy Space Center is where all roads lead before we leave Earth. So we're excited for that, and the launch complex at 39B is a big part of that. Until next time, we will see you, and I remind you always that even the sky isn't the limit.